You are watching the Pittsburgh Penguin Fan Show on Fan Media Network. I'm Joe Bartnick, a Pittsburgh Penguin fan. Joining me now, Pittsburgh Penguin fan, great comedian, my great friend, the one and only Andy Picaro. Andy, what's going on?
Like you just said, a mixed bag of a week, a little bit of, big emotion to start with. And then last night, as bad as it's going to get last night, really, in my mind, you can't, a 2-goal lead late. It's a point that's lost.
Well, you missed last week, and first 2 weeks all positive. Last week pretty much all negative. This week is a mixed bag, I'll tell you. Yesterday was nothing. Yesterday was like finding out you stubbed your toe after you had brain, after you were in a car wreck and you had multiple surgeries. Giving a point to the Flyers made me the green emoji vomit. The wild. It didn't strike anything in me. Like me and my cousins and all the Penguin fans were just texting back and forth hatred, about the Flyers, and that's the one that made me sick. Against the Wild, whatever. You knew it was going to happen, and I guess there's 5. We're not going to do good points, but I'm just going to hit 5 points here, and I'm not going to go over. I'm not going to edit this out. Let's hit this button here. Okay. First of all, welcome back, Brian Rust. 2 points. How much better they look with Brian Rust in the lineup?
A lot better, and that's probably my biggest glaring positive. And the only thing I'll say about the point giveaway, just to counter that a little bit, was I felt like they actually played not that well in the Flyer game too. So I felt like, thank God that we got what we got out of that game. That there's a win, and they only gave them 1 point. And for the Wild game, you're up 2. You're up 2, and I thought that they shelled up early, and they were only getting the puck to the red line. I hated the way that they basically played for most of the past 6 periods.
Well, yeah, for some reason they're aggressive on a penalty kill and they sit back on a 6-on-5. So, but let's get to, I guess that's my next point, is I think that is where the 2 pillars of the organization, sorry, Gino, is where it was missed with the goalie pulled. Sid would be out there taking some draws or adding leadership when it's poorly needed. I thought Snake and I thought Letang were looking for cookies when they should have been playing a defense with the empty nets. And I think Sid would have, brought that back into the fold. And the big one is, I think Sully calls timeout after the first goal goes in. I think you have to regroup after that. I don't think you just let it all go downhill.
Yeah, but they're rolling. You don't want to give their group rest that they just had out. It's one of those, a mental game there. I'm not sure what the right call is. I just thought it was if this was the plan or not. John Marino kept just skying the puck to the red line, and then they would bat it down and then go in. And they weren't even getting it deep. They weren't, forget out forechecking. They weren't putting the puck into the Wild zone for almost that entire third period. It was a mad scramble to just get it out, just get it away, just get it over the blue line, let them come back, just get it over the blue line, let them come back. They were shelling up so bad, whether it was on purpose or they were just getting out skated. They looked terrible to me in the third. Marino had one of his worst games as a Penguin, I thought, defensively.
Yeah, he's definitely come back to earth. I guess that'd be my last point. Letang, I can't criticize Letang except maybe got a little offensive. But he played insanely well in both overtimes. And man, the man truly had COVID, and he's playing 30 minutes a game. So I'm not going to knock Letang. They completely missed Dumo. Matheson with Letang is terrible. Get a fourth forward to play with Letang. If you can't find a defenseman, get Zach Aston-Reese to stay back, because the decisions that whoever likes playing with him have been terrible. They need to. Marcus Pettersson was either second best defenseman because after Duma, I guess defensive defenseman, they look terrible. P.O. Joseph, I can see why Hextall's down on him. He doesn't look very good at all. Friedman, I know, is a joke. And then cheap shotting people after the whistle. Give me a break. I know you used to be a Flyer, so who cares if any of those guys get hurt? But if someone cheap shots Sid or Gino or Rusty or somebody important, to be a crap. He needs to go to Wilkes-Barre, and they need to flatten his tires before he gets there, so he never makes it. F. Friedman. The defense is terrible. It's terrible.
Well, that's how bad it is. I think he was maybe the second best defenseman last night. I'm not saying anything great about him, but at least he stuck his foot out and made a save at one point. He blocked his shot. How often do you see that from their defensive core? they're not doing any of that stuff right now on defense. And I think defensively in their own zone, even the forwards have been bad. Some of these goals are going to start going in. Jari has been very good.
I was just about the next point. Jari's been phenomenal. He's been phenomenal, but he's terrible in the shootouts. He's terrible. I know Kirill's the thrill, but I honestly, I didn't even know Bjugstad could score. That was the most amazing thing about last night's game is Bjugstad could score a goal. I think that's his first goal he ever scored in the Pittsburgh arena.
and another thing I wanted to point out, just something I didn't like about the play last night. They were up by 2 with about 7 minutes left or 8 minutes left. They're coming down, and Kapanen already has his hat trick, and he rips his shot off the boards with 3 men deep, where they got caught, and it was an odd man. And Minnesota didn't even score on that chance, but I kept thinking, man, that's the kind of thing a team that's not very good does. You're up 2 goals. 3 guys get caught low on a chance that stunk, on a chance that went wide, and now everybody's going the other way, and you got 3 guys low, and there's just things like that I haven't seen a Sullivan team do a lot. I feel like I saw the past couple of games.
Well, Sullivan wasn't behind the bench, and I'll tell you that him passing the Zach Aston Reese on the 2-on-1 was a disaster too. I want to get to that. Maybe Zucker should be on that line. Here's what I think about the Penguins structure right now on the lineup. Zucker is a bottom 6. I don't care what you're paying him. You pay Lute $7 million. He's a bottom 6. Zucker is a bottom 6. Heinen's a top 6. Heinen looked great on the 4th line. Why is Heinen on the 12th guy? And why is Evan Rodriguez out there in overtime? That's where I think they missed Sullivan.
I think they were rewarding him for he made a couple nice plays on that first Kapanen goal and stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure. I thought the same thing. I thought, why is Erod out? I'm like, well, he did have a good game, and they didn't play very well, and maybe he was one of their best skaters. I literally thought the same thing. Like, well, maybe he was in the top 6 skaters today because they just didn't play well.
I'm a big Dan Heinen fan. I think Heinen's played amazing. He keeps the puck in. He's got some grit. He's like a real poor man's Rusty.
Yeah, I thought Boyle
Zucker is like a marginally better Zach Aston Reese.
You don't even notice him. If they didn't kept bringing up the fact that he played, he's against his former mates. There he is against his former mates constantly. I wouldn't have noticed him that much. I thought he had a very non-noticeable game again.
And Mr. Hands, breakaway, nothing. I'm sick of pretending he's good. Please. I don't care you overpaid him. I don't care who overpaid him. Put him on the bottom 6. And Zach Aston Reese, maybe he still has COVID. You don't notice him at all.
He's on a good line, and that's the only reason you notice him is because his line is generating him. I think McGinn has had the puck more than almost any other forward the past couple of games.
How great is McGinn be?
He has the puck constantly.
That's what I mean. And Teddy, but you never hear them say Zach Aston Reese. Really? No. For how many times you hear the other 2 guys?
No, I really don't know. I think that the Penguins, and when you look at the standings right now, I think they're 7th in the wild card race. So I mean, I know it's early and things are still weird, but they've got to. I don't see a whole lot of wins coming down the pike, and for me, they just got to play more sound than they have been. Just play better. I don't care if they lose as long as they're trying to take the puck 200 feet in the third, which they weren't doing last night.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is they missed Dumo. And they missed Sid. I think that makes it huge. And you know what though? They got 3 out of 4 points against if you would have said you're coming in, you're getting 3 out of 4 points. Okay. The problem is you're up in the third against both these teams. And Philly's garbage. They're actually worse than the Penguins.
Well, I think that the Penguins' biggest problem right now is that 2 weeks ago I think we just overset expectation, and I think now we're just coming back to earth a little bit. They came out of the gates flying because they are a gritty team, and no one's not trying. The effort's there, and they got great coaching, but I just don't. Everybody we're mentioning just seems that they would handle them in a 7-game series pretty easily.
Oh, they're not going to win a 7-game series against anybody unless they trade. I mean, they need to trade 3 or 4 guys off that team so they don't play. Well, I think how many big games has Zucker ever won? Exactly.
None, but I think that's the goal is getting rid of him and then having if you get rid of him and plus the money that's freed up, that would now be like something like $37 million next year in the summer, $37 million to play with. I mean, They could do something with that amount.
Hopefully that's why he's not where Heinen is. Because how do you take Heinen off the top? How is Heinen not in the top 6?
Look, I love Sully, but predicting his lineups and where he's going to play,
I think COVID
the whole time we've watched this. You know what I mean?
I think so. I think him getting COVID might be the best thing that happened to this team, other than losing 3, other than not getting the extra point this week and giving Philly a point, because I think he's going to sit on his couch watching from afar what needs to be done. I really do. I think he might have needed a little break to say, "Oh, this guy's terrible. This guy doesn't do this. This guy doesn't do that." Seriously.
I would never know, but they say it is a really weird experience to, watch it live on television instead of watching the replay. Like when you watch it live and you have the memory, then you watch the replay, you kind of give a guy a break. But when you just see it on TV and the guy's not coming back to the bench, you don't give him a break because you just saw the way it happened on television. So I think there's some truth. And I think it's good for Sully. He proved what it's like when he's not there. He just showed how important he is.
Oh, he's 100%. And I'm not knocking Reardon. I just think that Sully would have called a timeout. I think I just think he did a couple of things like who he put out on he's going to put out Zucker and Rodriguez. Rodriguez is the second line center technically. He's not going to rock the boat and make decisions.
Well, yeah, I think
you know what I mean. So I think head coach he wasn't going to make any bold head coaching decisions.
Well, he's got to be thinking, what would Mike do right now? Mike's watching on TV. I don't want him to be mad at me when I call him after the period. So who would he's playing a mind game with himself. Like, who do I throw out there, And
I think he did reasonably well. I think he did a pretty good job. They showed up to play against Philly. You can say they played bad, but they played hard.
Well, hey,
they easily could have tanked that game. Sid's got COVID and Sully has COVID. They easily could have pulled a no-show in that game.
Well, hey, even before last night, his name is being thrown out there now because there's so many coaching spots open, and he's had one shot at it. But yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I like Todd Reardon. I like the way he played as a player too.
Yeah, I mean, fine. Just bring back Sully. We finally got Rusty back. How about and on this, Kapanen finally gets a hat. He finally wakes up. What a waste of a Mad Hatter.
Yeah, what a waste of it too. And again, I just hate him going for that 4th goal when they were up. And so I have a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth with Cap. It's like you already scored 3. When do you want to get 4? I get it if you're going for 3.
I have a bigger problem with him passing to Zach Aston Reese, and so did Phil Bork.
I should listen to the radio a bit. I haven't listened to the radio side much.
That's one bonus about the ESPN Plus. It's easier to sync exactly.
Oh, really?
To Mr. Getzoff and Mr. Bork. All right, everybody. Well, a little positivity there at the end. And hey, it's my team. Let's go, Pens. Good news is Rusty's back. Dumo doesn't have symptoms. Gino's flying. We're going to be there at the end. As long as we just got to throw some crap out of the barn. All right, everybody. That's Andy Picaro. I'm Joe Bartnick. That's our show.
To host a fan show or appear as a fan on a fan show, simply create a profile on Fan Media's iOS app or website. Select your teams and make a short intro video on your phone. Show hosts, reporters, former players, and superfans can use our Get Verified feature and make an intro video as well, and our mobile newsroom staff will reach out.